In the last class, we had discussed about the export procedure. That is, what is pre-shipment procedure, what is shipment procedure, and what is post-shipment procedure. Today, we will go into the export documentation. What are the various documentations required to be maintained while doing an export? That is, when you are sending one goods from one country to another country for doing business, what all documentations are mandatory. That first one is the letter of credit. Then comes invoice, packaging list, airway bill, declaration on foreign exchange, certification of origin, inspection certificate, any other document required in the letter of credit or by the buyer or statutorily. First one, letter of credit means it is a document which is sent by the importer, the person who is buying the goods from you. He will send the letter stating that if you supply me the goods as per my requirement, I will pay it to you through the bank. That is, there will be an authorization from the bank that they will pay to all the deliveries done to the customers. Invoice means your bill, whatever bill you are providing him for the goods that you are sending. Packing list means whatever the goods you are loading on the ship or on the plane, whatever contents are there in your consignment or in your parcel what you are sending, that all list of all those products, their size, shape, quantity, quality, expiry date, the name of the importer, name of the exporter, each and everything has to be mentioned. After you submit these all three documents to the ship owner or the person who is doing the shipment, that ship owner will provide you bill of lading. Bill of lading means it's a proof that whatever goods are there in the packaging list that are being loaded on the ship, it is the proof given by the ship owner that all the ships that with all the goods that are mentioned in invoice or in the packaging list are being loaded to the ship. So this bill of lading or airway bill, if it is sent through airways, it is called as airway bill. If it is sent through goods are sent through ship, then it is called as bill of lading. Now this bill of lading, the exporter has to send to the importer. Exporter, when sends the bill of lading to the importer will get the confirmation that whatever goods he had ordered in the letter of credit, the same goods invoice has been made and the same goods has been loaded on the ship. He will get the confirmation because if the goods mentioned in the bill of lading are not in the ship, then the ship owner will be responsible and not the exporter. So the bill of lading is a proof of the goods being loaded on the ship. Next, under declaration under foreign exchange, as per the law, there has to be made a declaration to the DGFT, that is Director General of Foreign Trade, that how much worth of goods is being sent to the customer and how much foreign currency is going to be realized or is going to be received by the country and what is the rate of exchange, everything related to the currency. That declaration has to be made. Declaration means telling everything to the government, that is foreign exchange. Certificate of origin. Certificate of origin means the way in the country where the product is manufactured, from that country the certificate has to be taken saying that the said product is being manufactured in their country itself, so that the customers, so that the government from which the goods are being imported. For example, what will happen, certain countries there will have different taxation. That is, if the taxation for the goods imported from from China is different taxation for the goods imported from US is different taxation for the goods imported from Dubai is different. So in order to recognize how much tax has to be levied on the products, what the governments will ask, they will ask for certificate of origin. Supposing you are exporting to US will ask the certificate of origin from government of India, which you have got from government of India. When you produce that certificate, they will put the tax according to how much it has to put for India. In India, supposing you are importing from say for example from Sri Lanka, then that time you have to produce to the government the certificate of origin of the product, that is from the country in which it is manufactured. That will help them to identify the amount of tax, import tax, that has to be put on the goods. Inspection certificate means it was given by the customs department. Whenever the goods are being exported or imported, the inspection will be made by the customs department. That is whether to identify whether the custom duty is paid on all the goods or no, whether the custom duty what is paid is correct or no, whether any illegal goods are being exported or not. If any illegal goods, the goods which are being banned for exporting from a particular country, if such products are being exported or what, such things are being checked by the customs department. So that they give after inspection they will give a certificate that all the goods which are being exported are legal and all the needed duty or the tax is paid on the goods and they are fit to be exported. They will give such a certificate. Next is any other document that are required in the letter of credit. In the letter of credit, if there are any other documents that are required by the importer, that is the proof of the expiry of the product or the proof of the quality of the product, the certificate given by the government regarding the quality, regarding the environmental clearance, or there will be no any impact on environment, any of extra documents if the importer is requested, all those documents has to be present. Now let us see one by one. Letter of credit, it's a document issued by the bank of the importer to the exporter guaranteeing the exporter that full payment to him will be made after the goods are delivered as per the agreement. Now supposing you export a good to a particular person and after receiving the goods that person doesn't pay you, then whom will you contact? What is the guarantee that for the goods whichever you have exported you will get the payment? So in order to get the guarantee for you that the payment will be made, a letter will be given by the banker of the importer. Whoever person is importing, his banker will give you a letter that you deliver the product to my customer and I will pay you the money, whatever the money the customer has to pay. This letter of credit the bank will not give just like that. The person who is importing, he has to approach his bank and deposit the money into the bank, so that bank will give him letter of credit. That letter of credit he has to send it to the exporter. After receiving the letter of credit, the exporter will get confirmation that if he exports the product needed by the importer or the customer, he will get the payment from the bank. If the importer does not pay also, the bank will be responsible for the payment. The importer gets letter of credit after he deposits the money in the bank. Once the letter of credit is created, it's the responsibility of the banks to make the payment. This is the meaning of letter of credit. Packaging list. Packaging list is a list of all the materials that are being exported. The packaging list consists of detailed information about the shipment. The information such as exporter's name, importer name, quantity, dimension, value, etc. It is compared with the invoice. Packaging list basically means it's a list of all the materials that you are going to export. All the list, whatever the invoice you have created or whatever the bill you have created, whatever the goods are mentioned in the bill, that has to be mentioned in the packaging list. Now when invoice is there, invoice is for the receiving the payment. It is a bill against which the person will give the payment. Now packaging list is the list which has to be given to the shipping company or the ship owner, saying that these are all the goods which we want to export or which you want to load into your ship and send them. So after seeing the packaging list, after inspecting each of the products which are mentioned in the packaging list against the physical goods, जो भी goods आप ship में भेजना चाहते हो उसको the ship owner will inspect them, that whether the same goods are present. He will compare the invoice, the packaging list and the actual goods. All three should be the same. That is, whatever the goods are mentioned in the invoice, whatever dimension it is mentioned, whatever the size it is mentioned, whatever the quantity it is mentioned, quality is mentioned, the same has to be present in the packaging list. So now whatever there in the packaging list, the same has to be physically present in the shipyard. Before loading, all the goods will be inspected. Now after inspection of all the goods, if they are as per the packaging list, then the ship owner will make arrangement for loading of those goods into the ship. If everything is right, then he will reserve a place in the ship for all your goods to be loaded. Next comes the bill of lading. It's a document which the ship owner will provide to the exporter. Ship owner will provide to the exporter after loading all the goods. Now if all the goods are as per the invoice, if all the goods present physically in the shipyard are same as that of packaging list and that of the invoice, and all other documents such as custom clearance, insurance are present, then what the ship owner will do or the shipping company will do, it will load all your products into their ship. First they will reserve a place, then they will load all your products onto the ship. After loading all the products onto the ship, they will provide you a bill of lading, a document called as bill of lading. What this bill of lading says is that the goods which are mentioned in the packaging list or the list or the invoice, these all goods are being loaded onto our ship, and on this date it will be delivered to the designated destination, whichever destination. For example, you are exporting to Dubai, then on this date these many goods will be delivered to Dubai, or these goods will be delivered to Sri Lanka, or that will be mentioned. This document is given by the ship owner to the exporter. Why? Because the importer will get after the exporter sends this bill of lading to the importer will get the confirmation that whatever goods he has ordered, that the same goods are being loaded on the ship. Because if he doesn't trust the exporter, he can trust the ship owner, because ship owner is a third person. He doesn't have any interest in the what the goods are being sent, to whom it is sent. His responsibility is that to deliver goods from one port to another port. So it's a proof that the goods which are there in the invoice, the same goods are being loaded onto the ship. It's a document issued by the shipping company or the transporter. That means it is given by the shipping company or the transporter. It is a document which confirms that the goods are loaded in the ship. Document which confirms that the goods are loaded in the ship, and the same goods which the customer ordered, the same goods are being loaded. It gives confirmation of that also. It contains details such as importer name, exporter name, date of dispatch, date of arrival, type of packaging, insurance, etc. It gives confirmation to the importer that goods are in transit. Invoice, custom clearance, packaging list, insurance, inspection certificate are needed to make the needed invoice, custom clearance, packaging list, insurance, inspection certificate are needed to get bill of lading. When does the shipping company use bill of lading? When there is custom clearance on the goods, when there is packaging list, and if the physical goods and the packaging list and invoice, all three should match. then there should be insurance copy, then there should be inspection certificate. If all these are there, then shipping company will provide the exporter the bill of lading. That bill of lading exporter will send it to the importer, then importer will get the confirmation to the that the goods are in transit. Now next, inspection certificate. It is a document issued by the customs department certifying that the goods are legal and fit for transportation. There is no any foul play, or there is no any what you call illegal goods being transported, or all the custom duty is paid correctly as per the law. It is needed for loading the goods into the ship. If inspection certificate is not there, then you will not get bill of lading. Bill of lading means the proof of that the goods are being loaded. It is issued once the physical verification of goods as well as the custom duty is paid. It is necessary to prevent transport of illegal goods. Next, country of origin certificate. Country of origin certificate, as I said earlier, it's a certificate given by the country in which the goods is manufactured. It is saying that it's a proof that goods is manufactured in such a country. It is needed because every country has different import duty on different countries. There will not be same import duty on all the countries. It is a document which states the country in which the goods is manufactured or processed. It is needed to decide on the import taxes. Now next is what is Incoterms, that is international commercial terms. International commercial terms are the technical words or jargons used internationally in the import and export trade. Every country has its own language and it becomes difficult to communicate. It becomes even more difficult if each country has its own rules of documentation. These terms are created by International Chamber of Commerce. So Incoterms basically means that whenever there is a logistic work is being done, that is loading, unloading, dispatching from one country, receiving it in another country, then when the person who is sending here will not be the same person who will be receiving, then how should the shipping company give the product to the another person? There should be some proof that the goods whichever are being exported, the shipping company gives it to the right person, not to anybody else. So in order to make sure that there is a common rules between all the countries, irrespective of whichever language they speak, irrespective of whichever country it is, whatever their internal rules are there. But as far as import and export is concerned, there are certain terms which will be same for all. For example, take for example take for example generally whenever we go to any shop to purchase anything, after purchasing what we ask for invoice. Some will tell it as an invoice, some will tell it as a bill, some will tell it as invoice. So in order to keep only one word, that is supposing in one country they might not understand what is invoice, they will be calling it bill only. Whenever you do the shopping, after making the payment, you will ask for a bill. In some countries they will be calling it invoice. So it will become difficult for the people of different countries. Supposing the person who took a country where you are exporting, they call it as an invoice. He will ask me send the invoice, then you will not understand it because in your country you will call it as a bill. So in order to clear this misunderstanding, so that there is no any misunderstanding between the importer exporter and also the country of the import and country of the export, there are common terms for different activities being done, such as in general the activities such as loading, unloading, payment being made. These are all common terms, but in international commercial business there are different terminologies for all such and different terms which are being used for the import and export. All such terms are called as Incoterms, that is international commercial terms. Just briefly to tell you about the different international commercial terms they are ex work, free carrier, free alongside ship, free on board, cost and freight and insurance, cost paid to carrier and insurance paid to, delivery at a terminal, delivery at the place, delivery duty paid place, delivery duty place. So these are the terms which are commonly used. For example, ex works means, if you tell that I am exporting the goods on X works means the seller, if you are the seller, your work is that you have to just manufacture the goods and keep it in your place. It is a responsibility of the importer to take those goods from your godown to the shipyard and carry out the shipment and import and unload it at the port and take it to his place. So these are the processes which are involved in the import and export. That is, the seller has to manufacture the goods, then he has to transport it to the shipping area or the shipping port. From there again it has to be unloaded. After unloading, it has to be transported to his godown. So these all the various processes that have to be carried out. So while carrying out these processes, now who will do which job? There is one question, that is, if you are exporting to the goods to one customer in different country, then till where is your responsibility? Whether is it only manufacturing and keeping, or is it giving it till the shipping port, or is it till loading it, or is it till it reaches to the customer's port, or is it till you unload it there, or is it you unload it and then transport it to his destination? So in this, till where is your responsibility and from where does the importer's responsibility start? Those things are being determined by the Incoterms. That is, the Incoterms. In other words, you can also tell that these are the terms which determine the responsibility and the risk taken by the importer and exporter. For example, if a goods is being exported through X works, that is, through X works, if a goods is being exported, then responsibility and the risk of the seller is only till he manufactures and stores in his godown. Now, why the responsibility and the risk is on the importer from taking the goods from the manufacturer's godown to the shipping port, shipping it through the ship, then unloading it in his own country, then carrying it from the shipping port to his godown. So this much responsibility will be in the head of the importer. Now if it is free carrier, then the exporter will manufacture, then he will transport it to the shipping port. He will just transport it till the shipping port. Now after transporting, what the importer has to do, he has to make sure the goods are being loaded on the ship, all the custom clearance is being done. He will just arrange for the exporter will just arrange for the transportation from his end to his manufacturing plant to the shipping port. Now when the goods arrive at the shipping port, what the importer has to do, he has to unload it from the vehicle, then the custom clearance has to be done. After making the custom clearance, it has to be loaded on the ship. he has to take all the bill of lading, packaging list, invoice, etc. All everything has to be done by the importer. Then after it arrives at the his port, he has to undergo again all the inspections done at the his port. Then he has to unload it from the ship, get it unloaded from the ship, load it on, and the transportation from there it has to be transported to his place. Now here the responsibility of the exporter or the manufacturer is only till manufacturing it and loading it on the truck or on the vehicle which has to be reached to the shipping port. Now, free alongside ship means the exporter's responsibility is to deliver the goods at the shipping port. That is, he has to not only just transport it, but he has to also unload the goods in the shipping port and may clear all the custom clearance has to be made. He doesn't have to load it on the ship. He has to just deliver the goods at the port and clear the customs, only that much. That only if he does that much, his work is being finished. Free on board means it will be responsibility of the exporter to load the goods onto the ship. He has to load the goods onto the ship, but the payment of the transportation will be made by the exporter. He has to just load it on the ship. Cost and freight means he has to load it on the ship as well as make the payment for the shipment. For transportation charges, whatever it is there, he has to pay for it. Cost, insurance and freight means he has to pay the cost of transportation and he has to pay the cost of all the process of undergoing all the documentation till it is loaded onto the ship, and he has to pay for the insurance. That who? The exporter. Now cost paid to means he has to the exporter is responsible for the goods until it reaches the place which is said by the importer. If the importer says he wants the delivery of the goods at this place, then all the responsibility will be or all the cost or will be borne by the exporter till it reaches the place of destination where he has told. Carrier and insurance paid to means here the exporter will pay for all the expenses until it reaches its destination, and also he will be responsible for all the activities that take place in this process. Now difference between cost paid to and carrier and insurance paid to is that in cost paid to, once the goods leaves the premises of the seller, then he only pays for the cost of all the rest of the activities till it reaches the customer, but the responsibility of or the risk will be in the hands of the importer. Now whereas in carrier and insurance paid to, the exporter will bear the cost as well as he will bear the risk. If anything happens to the goods, if any of the process is not properly followed, if the government puts any fines, if the ship submerges और if the ship अगर वो शिप डूब गया तो इसका जिम्मेदारी किसके ऊपर होगा? It will be on the exporter in the case of carrier and insurance paid to. Whereas in the cost paid to, the risk will be in the hands of the importer. Whatever happens, the importer will be responsible when the goods leave the premises of the exporter. Now deliver at terminal means it is same as the carrier and insurance paid to. All the risk and the cost is borne of transportation, cost of transportation and the risk is borne by the seller till the goods reaches the destined place or the place where the importer has said. Now delivery at place, this is also same. Delivery duty place means till the importer's warehouse, the exporter is responsible for bearing the cost as well as the risk. These are the in-code terms. Now we'll go in detail about these Incoterms that are ex works, free carrier, free alongside ship, free on board, carriage paid to cost and freight, cost insurance and freight, carriage and insurance paid to delivered at terminal. Now when you see this the list, you'll feel it confusing, but if you see this chart, you'll come to know very easily. Delivery at place, delivery duty paid. So there are total 11 Incoterms. There might come 2 marks question, might be it will surely come from any of this. They might ask any of these Incoterms definition, as well as it might come for 5 marks stating what is Incoterms and explain any 4 or 3 Incoterms. X works. Now X work is categorized in the group E. These Incoterms are made into different groups such as group E, group D, group C, group F, D, C, F. These are the 3 groups. So in group E, what are different Incoterms that come under group E? Contains only X work. Put the least amount of financial pressure on the seller. He has just a minimum obligation, and the point of delivery is his address, work of or warehouse. Afterwards, the responsibility and the further transport transfer to the buyer. Group D, it includes 3 Incoterms: delivery at place, delivery, DAT, DDP. These DAP, DDT means DAP means delivery at place, delivery at terminal. DDP means delivery duty at place. These 3 come under, last 3 come under group D, wherein in which the maximum responsibility and risk is in the hands of the exporter. In group 3, carriage and forward CFR, CIF, CPT, CIP. Similar to the previous one, the seller now has to pay additional expenses that happens after the buyer takes over the risk. Those include freight or carriage charges, as well as cargo insurance premium. So these come under group CFR, CIF, CPT and CIP come under group C. FOB, free on board, free alongside ship, free carriage, freight carriage. FCA means what? FC means free carrier. Free carrier, free alongside ship, free on board. These come under group F. 3 Incoterms appear in this group: FOB, FAS and FCA. This time there is more burden on the seller. He has to pay for the insurance of the goods until free on board or until the carrier takes over the shipment. In addition to that, he has to hand over the bill of lading to the buyer along with the other documents necessary. We will continue next in one more class. Thank you.